systems online. All systems nominal.
As the camera comes back up, last we saw in the last episode, the teaser for this episode, we saw a car pull up and two people get out, put masks on. As they begin looking at this body before them, one of them like pokes at it and then shakes his head, rubs at his forehead before like punching the box title screen. 1 hour later, as you pull up in Harlow's heavily beaten up sedan, we'll call it a sedan. You want to call it a sedan or a wagon?
We'll call it a wagon. I feel like that that really rubs it in. It's a wagon.
Okay. As you pull up to the usual hangout, the bar, like the windows in the front, usually they're like kind of dark. Right now they're mirrored, which wasn't how they were when you guys left. As you approach, like Buddy presses a button on his wrist and the door opens for both of you, for the three of you. At some point in the journey, like you guys stopped and let Shaudinius out so he could go back to his place because he was just feeling tired. More likely, from the smell of your car, you figure he's not tired as much as he's just too high.
Way too high. Way too high.
Your car also now has a debuff called the marijuana stench. You're more likely to be pulled over for the.
It's already the case.
for the rest of this episode until you get it detailed.
Detailed? I just need to roll the windows down, bro.
You're gonna need at least 1d4 canisters of Febreze 2.0 to get the air out.
Ultra Febreze AC 10 edition.
Yeah, exactly. Forget about a bug bomb. This is a smell bomb.
It's not Febreze, it's for gust.
Yeah, exactly.
Need something stronger than a breeze for that.
It's for cyclone. It's the strongest variant of Febreze you can get. As you guys pull up, Buddy presses the bouncer Buddy presses a button on his wrist, and you as you guys approach, like the doors open. Inside you would see Selena at her usual place, like cleaning up some glasses and putting the cookingware in the appropriate place. Hard Deck is at the end of the bar, but like behind him, as if speaking to him with hushed words, is a from the body that you can see, he looks kind of decrepit, like very thin, especially like around the stomach. Like he has like a crop top, let's say, but like his stomach is visible and it's very like I don't want to say shriveled, but like it looks aged, we'll say. As they're talking and you guys enter, like this guy would look at you. Harlow, as you like enter the room, there's an ever so familiar like scent about it. A lot of times when humans encounter magic, it's like it smells like ozone going on. This is like a potent like ionization of air almost. It smells like to you, and it smells very familiar. You've smelt this once before, long ago in your history. As this guy looks at you, one of his eyes is like glowing blue, as if it's been cybernetically enhanced, and then he just puts a hand on Hard Deck's shoulder and just goes, "I'll be back later for the rest of our discussion. Try not to piss them off any further." And then, as if almost instantaneously, a wisp of air and this guy is gone. Everyone make me perception checks, please.
Already?
Yeah. We're going in strong.
A good 14.
Terrible 5. Terrible.
Harlow, see if you can. It didn't show up on roll 20, but that's fine for now. I'm gonna believe you're 16. I don't.
Let me reload it. Maybe it'll be better. Let me just check to see
like
if it works.
just the strong smell of like magic
There we go.
ozone around you is like kind of blinded your senses momentarily. Adam, you would like just barely notice looking over, like quickly like diagnosing Hard Deck and Selena. You would be able to notice that they're kind of sweating a bit more than usual. Their heart rates are a little bit faster. It seems like they're very nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Harlow,
there we go. Now it's showing up.
That did go through Harlow. Harlow, you would see Hard Deck is like sweating bullets. And as he's looking down at the counter, Selena's not as bad, but she's also like precipitating a bit more. As the we'll call it an aberration, disappears, Harlow, not Harlow, oh goodness. Hard Deck looks over and sees you guys and just goes, so I might have screwed up just a tiny bit with that shipment.
Is that why you are rapidly losing fluids?
You could say that, yes. It would seem that our little caper hasn't gone unignored. In fact, it was protected by someone I didn't want to be on the radar of quite so soon after the last bad job, if you will.
Protected.
Yes. Whoop. Gotta fix my everything. I mean, everyone's heard of the Queen, kind of like the de facto leader of the city, if you will. She and I don't get along, don't see eye to eye, I would say. I still have fondness for the old ways, if you will. Either way, I might be on her radar personally, not you as a group individually. So, I would recommend for perhaps the next few days, just lay low and don't get as many smoke breaks as you usually do outside, if you will. Other than that, Selena's men are taking care of the shipment right now, and as soon as that's done, we'll begin selling off the merchandise in the seedier markets. It won't be as big of a payday, but it'll still be a payday at least. I've got a few people looking for some of the specific items, but it seems like a few things went missing. So the big ticket items aren't all there, but we have enough that we should be able to make a pretty hefty payday after this. Like I said,
there's a guy just hanging out inside the shipping containers. Do you think that was third party?
he was hanging out? What do you mean?
There was a man with a lot of low-grade implants. I'm talking petrol implants. He was literally inside one of the canisters. Could he have been third party? Maybe we missed one or two of them.
He might have been the lower
Harlow covering his ass.
a lower level enforcer for one of the Queen's court. Nothing too big, but still something to not worry about.
Might have been thieves.
It might have been. I don't know all of the question. I don't know all of the answers right now.
I'm just proposing a possibility.
It would seem that this banhammer that was there might have been related to Banshee. So I might myself have a problem. There's nothing tying you guys to me. And as far as I've seen, the security footage of the area is wiped out. So there shouldn't be much of a threat to you guys.
So I should get rid of this hammer, Adam says as he pulls out the van hammer.
Not necessarily get rid of it, but, maybe
Restylize it.
that or put it in a closet that no one goes to, kind of thing. Downstairs in the basement would be fine. I don't mind storing it there. But
Well, I have an idea that'll keep us clear on that. Sorry.
I don't see much reason for you all needing to worry about this. Pay should still be coming, split evenly amongst the... And as he looks at you, he goes, 2 of you are missing, it would seem. Oh well. I'll split the... I don't see Chowdinius or Buckenheimer here, but so be it. I'll split the pay evenly, and then I'm assuming you all want payment in the same way you had previously, of golden chips and credits each, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll get that over to you all when I can.
And the equivalent exchange is still, as far as like copper to gold, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that means I need to convert a lot of my existing money.
But yes, so we might not be able to sell a few of the higher bid items that we were looking for. There was supposed to be a quite large munition in there, and it seems like that was already taken out. You might not have been the first people there, and you might not have been the last people there either, I'm afraid to say. That all being said, as I said previously, I would recommend each of you go home. Take a few days off. If you work day jobs, do your normal routine. Don't act suspicious. But I will need to lay low. Selena will still fence the goods and sell them as need be. Without that big ticket item, we aren't going to get as big of a payday as I had hoped for. But you'll all still be receiving a fairly handy amount of money. But I do think that your your disassociation with this place for about a week or so should be fine. I'll put a few feelers out for some other contacts and see if any other fixers need you guys at the moment. But right now, like I said, I'm trying to stay under the radar, if you will. Is there any question?
What's the payment number?
It depends on the goods that we sell, and
So we're waiting on the money.
yes. Unlike this isn't going to be a pay up front job where you're getting paid a fixed sum.
I understand. Very well.
As I understand it, you are basically telling us to come back in a week, and we will get our pay and resume work.
Yes. If you would like, I can have another fixer try to throw something up for you. But let's say that I've kicked the hornet's nest, and the bees are looking for anyone at this point. So it might be a bit hard to come by. Like I said, go about your normal days, and as soon as I can, I'll have this all fixed up, and hopefully Banshee won't be coming for any of us.
Understood.
You say that very confidently.
In this way, credits usually do a lot of talking. And if those don't work, some malicious software always helps speed along the efforts, if you will.
Adam could give him a dirty look at this point. He could. You only see him just swivel his head towards him in a judgmental way.
Nothing to affect you, I promise. It's just, directed denial of service attacks to a few known locations that they hang out at. Piss them off enough and they'll find out who did that and not look in the correct place.
You understand why I'm concerned, though.
Concerned about what?
Banshee.
I mean,
About pretty much anyone who could.
Harlow. Hard Deck has not let me down in the past. I do not believe we have any reason to not place confidence in him and his plan.
All right, listen.
I will trust you.
I've heard the rumors of this man as well. I've seen the things he's done. My last crew really pissed him off. So I've seen him at his angriest, and I've seen him at his most tolerable. As far as I've judged on his actions in the last hour, we're not looking at anything serious like a full-on Armatech raid here. But again, caution is the cloak that saves everyone's back.
Fair enough.
I still have some backdoor proxies. I can get an email out to you when I need to. But until that point in time, if any contact needs to be done with me, I'd recommend using the manager's email on the website to this place, and perhaps Selena can contact you for me.
Right.
That sounds agreeable.
For
That's what
now,
I think we'll get for now.
like I said, I should have a bulk of the goods are just small time things. You can distribute those amongst a million different places and no one can trace it to you. The big ticket items I will need to sell directly myself, and those might take a while to fence. But that being said, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. I have enough strings to pull that way.
Just don't, just do your thing and be smart.
I say the same to you as well. Adam,
Yes, with that aside, I'd like to ask something of you, something that needs your expertise.
go ahead.
You know about the attachments on my hands, the knuckles given to me by Fist, right?
Yes.
I was wondering if you could do a modification on them using the electric generator of this banhammer as a base.
Oh. You're looking for...
I saw how efficiently that hammer could take people out of the fight without lethality. I'd like to add that to my own touch.
It would take a few days, but I can get that done.
Just coats the outside with rubber.
I will give you both the fists, or I will give you both the knuckles and the hammer. I do not need them to be in any perfect state. Rip them apart as you will to make them work the best they can. How much money would you need for this?
I mean, I'm not doing much this week anyways, except for putting some probes out. So we can do that right now, and at least the work will get started before the next job. Ike,
Wonderful.
Harlow, is there anything else you need from me, or can we say our goodbyes and see each other next weekend?
For now, I think we can say our goodbyes.
Our goodbyes are good enough.
That's fine with me. Adam, follow me to the basement and I'll start with the replacement of your hands. I don't have anything that fits you right now, so I hope Universal Basic number 2 will do the fix.
I will only be using them for a short while. That's fine for me.
3 fingers is just as good as 5.
Well, if you remember, he's only got 3 fingers to begin
Yeah.
with.
So he's only one finger on each.
5 as good as 3, 3 as good as 5. Whatever way you wish to put it, they'll work for you. I can Harlow, if you would like to see yourselves out, that'd be fine. Adam, come with me to the basement. As he says that, like, he's closing his deck and like pulling his wires out of it before he starts walking off. Adam, I'm assuming you're gonna follow him.
Definitely.
Ike and Harlow, as you leave, you see Buddy like closing shutters over the windows. And as
his name is just Buddy.
Yeah, his name is
him.
Buddy. Buddy the bouncer.
He better not get hurt. I will die for Buddy.
They hurt my buddy. As you both leave, like, he just gives a curt nod and he's sorry about the fingerprint thing. Apparently it's not liked by everyone. Have a good week, guys.
You too.
And yeah, as you guys like exit, like you'll see him close the doors behind you, and then like if you both like I imagine you're both looking back and you would just see like the lights dim, or at least it looks like the lights are being turned off. As you hear like a giant ka-chunk as the doors are firmly locked behind you. Harlow and Ike, what would you like to do now that you are out of the bar?
Well, Hard Deck suggested we stay low, so I'd like to go back to my home and start drinking.
Okay.
I'm going to see my people about getting research materials and firearms.
Got it. Okay. We'll start with let's just do this alphabetically. Harlow, where do you want to like are you gonna go visit the old place that you lived, or are you just gonna send out some
my parents' old research partners and try to get basically spare lab equipment from them. And
all right.
My old mercenary buddies for the laser rifle.
Would you like to use an inspiration to immediately get a contact, or are you gonna would you rather roll for it?
For the research materials, I'll roll.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a 1d100, please. It takes some time, but you eventually get through to he didn't work like he wasn't working directly with your parents, but he was feeding them he was like giving them materials that he could find. Actually, I should say beforehand, is it a he or a she that you're trying to contact?
We'll call it a she.
Okay. Do you want to give her a name?
My mother's still alive, so she might still be working.
Unfortunately, it's not your mother.
Well, no, not my mother, but someone who worked with, what I mean?
Yeah. Give me a second. Okay. So yeah, you eventually get in contact with a woman named Maddox Schofield. Um, as I said before, she didn't work directly with your parents. She kind of left. You would know it now as dead drops, but back then you thought it was just like, oh, your parents found materials.
Yeah.
She left dead drops for them, more or less, of like, oh, here's a box of like plutonium nitrate.
It's not like what we're doing was illegal. It was just sometimes materials are hard to find.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing is, as you grew up more and more, and your mom told more and more stories about like the research they did, it became more clear that this person was more or less like the person who would find materials and then pay off people to accidentally drop a box off the back of the truck or two, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get into contact with her. She doesn't seem. Are you gonna go visit her in person, or you just want to talk via, like?
We're going basically trying to use like a secure chat and just basically giving like details like, hey, I'm not trying to put you in a different situation. Just keep doing what you were doing for them.
Yeah, you close down your regular Chrome browser, you open up the incognito window, and you're like, all right,
Yep.
this is good.
I mean, sure.
She makes it quite clear that she isn't necessarily busy, but she just kind of stopped that line of work. She makes it also very clear that it's kind of bitten her in the ass more than once previously, and so she's kind of stopped.
Can exchange for valuable items. And
Yeah.
I just get a picture of the company name on the drone case. I don't get any pictures of serial numbers or nothing.
Okay, so you're just
I don't want that online.
You just want to see what she knows about this company?
No, I'm using this as like to put weight behind the idea that working with me could be very lucrative.
Give me a charisma roll, please. If you want to intimidate her or
I'm trying to be persuasive.
Okay. Would you like would you rather
if it's persuasion, can we just keep the roll I did?
Yeah.
Because it's a charisma roll either way. 21.
Okay.
Because I have a +2 to that.
Yeah, so like as soon as you send her the picture of the drone case, there's like a minute of silence. 2 minutes of silence. 3 minutes of silence. And then after about 5 minutes, you get like this person is typing, stops, starts typing again, stops, and then finally you get a message back. I don't like doing business with those people.
That's why you're not doing business with those people.
Then what do you need from me?
I don't have any specific materials I had in mind. What can we just call like things that like magical, like okay. Basically I'm looking for etheric resonance crystals or whatever. Things that I can use to further the research that I am doing into basically where magic comes from. You know what I mean? You could call it warp portal technology at this point, and it'd basically be accurate.
I can do that, but I'm going to need a retainer up front to begin trying to ... procure those materials.
What do you want up front?
There's another minute of silence before you get back the message. 1,000 credits up front, and I'll have some materials for you by the end of next week.
Already sent.
Yeah, so it takes about another 5 minutes before you get a message back. Credits received. I'll begin looking for something, I guess. And then, like,
Sorry, I guess I wasn't very specific because I didn't have like a name for something that doesn't sound immediately stupid when I think about it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, like, she, the way that she phrases something, you would recognize it as, like, code talk. She's more or less telling you, yeah, something might fall off a truck. Maybe, if we're lucky. You get one more message from her that says, if I need to grease the wheels, can I count on you to pay for it, or is this coming out of pocket?
You can count on me to pay for it. With and I do with asterisk within reason. I'm not gonna pay for your morning coffee, but if you need to bribe a truck driver, sure. That's the application.
She replies back, coffee doesn't grease wheels, but I have one or two contacts left with Ameritech. I might be able to see what might fall off a truck or two. This stuff is hard to come by, so don't expect promising results.
Any result will be better than recent.
She puts in like a gif of like people laughing, and then I'll update you via burner, and then signs off. Her sign off message is, I had nothing to do with that nothing that you grabbed.
Nothing happened to do. Anyways, next, or I guess we can do a rotation before we do the laser because that took a second.
Ike, are you walking home, or are you going to try and hitch a ride with Harlow?
I'll hitch a ride.
Catch a ride.
Oh God, he's back. We thought we killed him in Borderlands 2, but no, he just keeps coming back. Scooter, you piece of shit. Yeah, Harlow, do you give him a ride to his place?
For free too.
How nice. For free, just don't ask questions about that marijuana smell.
You know,
But yeah,
people say cash grass or ass, but you already came with the grass.
yeah. Someone did. Go ahead and roll me a 1d100, please. Ike. Oh no. When you finally get back home, like, what is your living conditions? Explain them to me. Like, are you living in like a studio apartment? Do you have like a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, penthouse? What are we talking here?
I got like a studio apartment.
Okay. Yeah, you get back and like everything looks the exact same way that it used to be. You check your messages real quick to see if there's any job offers. You see that there was one message sent, but when you open it, it's just blank. Then you check like your outgoing folders, maybe a few other places. Start looking up, how to make drink, and then you get another message, and it's just, I'm a Bismarckian noble, and I need your help. Please get me off the planet. Just send me 2,000 credits, and I'll give you my money when I get back home.
Yo, a noble? Man, they could make you rich.
It's got a picture that says he's your brother, but you look nothing alike.
I choose to respond with, good luck, but I have no money.
I am the one who answers the spam emails. please talk to me. I need friends. But yeah, like, there doesn't seem to be any hits. the the one email that you had when you got home, you see that there's a chain of emails with it, and it just seems to be from like different fixers, all saying like, "Hey, sorry, I don't have any work right now." It seems like most of my stuff is drying up right at the moment. You're at home. What would you like to do?
I'd like to open up my hidden compartment and stash that laptop and the hard drives.
Okay.
There's no point in trying to sell them right now.
I mean,
Not with it being hot.
Give me
After what
another-
Hardjack just said.
give me another 1d100, will you? Please? There's a pawn shop a few blocks away that no one really bothers. You've been there a few times, like, browse the wares, see if they've got any cool, like, antique spy stuff. Just for shits and giggles. But no one bothers them much. And they always seem to be able to buy anything. So, that's an option, but yeah, you're at home all alone.
I think I'll go ahead and skip on that option, and I'll contact my people next time we take a break, when it's a little bit more safe.
Okay. As the camera pans from, like, Ike just sipping on a glass of blueberry,
Rum and Coke.
of rum and coke with some frozen blueberries scattered on top and mixed in. The camera pans over, and like a black screen appears, and then it like goes over to like this operating table. Adam, as you're like getting put into this chair, you see Hard Deck begin like pulling out these different hands, these different like boxes, and opening them up. No, that's not the right box. Damn it! Another box. Why do I have a box of just eyes? I don't know why.
If I have to go handless, I still have my service set to use.
Are those at your house?
The hard deck, do you forget I am quad armed? And then two small arms come out from under where his rib cage would be.
Yeah, because that doesn't call attention to yourself at all.
That's why I often tuck them away.
He finally pulls out. Roll me a 1d100 if you wouldn't mind, Adam.
1d100 on the way. That's an 85.
He pulls out this, like one more box, and it seems to have a little bit of like it's a wooden box, but it seems to have like rust on it somehow.
Oh no.
As he does, like he blows on it and then lifts it open and pulls out these two arms. They don't look very bad, but they're not optimal, as you would say.
Oh no. These look older than me, Hard Deck. What are you playing?
Listen, it's hard to get rid of antique robotic parts when no one has antique robots. I think at this
Every
point,
time he says antique, Adam cringes a little bit. You know I hate that word.
oh, I'm sorry. Would you prefer relic?
I cannot
Listen,
cry, otherwise
it's-
I would.
You are the oldest model I've seen that still functions. Most people don't buy up sentimental artifacts of a robot long dead from before the Great Wars. So it's a bit hard to come by buyers for this sort of reliquary.
No, I understand. That does bring forth information though. What of that body?
What body?
Did I not show you the model I recovered of one of my siblings?
You did not.
Oh. I hope that's not one of the things that they were upset that was missing.
Wait, did you take it, or is it still in the? Is it still in the containers?
It should be in the containers. It may be covered. It may be under a pile of other junk to be looked over. So I could have gotten it later before I got my hands taken away.
If you want, I can have. You see him like stumble for a moment over his words, and then like the visible, like his eyes look up as he's like obviously thinking about something. Before you see like 4 holographic screens appear before him, and he's like they start scrolling upwards, and he's looking through all of them simultaneously, and he's like, there is a container full of robotic parts. Was it in there?
Yes. See, it's a later model. I'm unsure why. I want to know who has such an interest in it, why it was getting shipped.
I mean, at this point, oh, excuse me. At this point, who knows? These are just. It was probably going to a scrapyard, let's be honest. Neo Vegas is one of the few places where people actually go to dump stuff off and get used in different ways.
I can only hope so.
I'm not seeing individual serial numbers yet. If you'd like, we can go visit the warehouse. What do you want this body for, though? As he's saying this, like, he's closed the holographic windows around him where, like, they blink out as he approaches and begins, like, taking off your hands and, like, removing them and looking over them and maybe giving them, like, a quick polish here and there.
Don't ruin the patina.
Spits on one of them and starts, like, greasing it, like, rubbing it with his elbow. There we go. Nice and fixed up.
I worked hard on that.
Organics have often expressed this concept of family to me, and specifically the concept of siblings, peers that came from the same origin. I want to further experience that.
So you want to keep it as a companion, then?
If it works that way, possibly. I am unsure how a concept like a brother would work among machines.
Oh. How to
He's suddenly like, oh shit.
How to describe organic bonds between fleshy creatures to a computer that describes it in zeros and ones is quite hard. So you don't want it as a pet, you don't want it as a spare, you want it as its own thing.
Yes, that would be my closest. That would be the closest way for me to achieve something like family, as it is a working model of the same facility I was built. It may be younger, it may be a younger serial line, but that is what younger siblings are, is it not?
when you put it like that, you make it sound like we are just fleshy robots, and I don't know if I like that. But I
Wouldn't be the first person to express that distaste.
I also understand the inorganic way of deciphering this. The problem here is we're now discussing, like, he's saying this to you as he sits down in a chair and like begins like spinning around as he's like, you can more or less imagine his mind is going in circles. The problem is, though, as I've stated, any programming from beyond even a century ago is ancient. I mean, you don't create a Godwalker and just have it work. You need ways to go about this. We might not be able to find an OS that's compatible with it. And even yours, which might be the closest thing that is still existing, that works in some nature, even your OS might be too old for his chassis, their chassis. It's not a, this is, now we're getting into the, we don't even know.
It is quite difficult, isn't it?
We don't even know how this chassis, I don't want to bring up identity and all, but we don't even know if it's a he or she, or if it's just a, don't take this the wrong way, but if it's just a slave drive.
No, that's completely understandable. Most of my line started off as slave drives. I was a slave drive for the first 120-ish years.
Oh, boy. You put me in quite the conundrum here, friend. I can...
If it is too much to ask, I completely understand. I just don't want this chassis falling into sinister hands.
Idle hands are the devil's favorite tools, as they say. Oh, goodness. I would have to pull some contacts that I haven't talked to in ages at this point. Try and see if I could get anything like that, but it might be possible in a data archive. Perhaps they have an OS of that nature.
Oh, they and I are a perfect example that Sabaton still exists in the corners of Neo Vegas.
I'll have to talk to
we may just have to go on other jobs as well.
I'll have to talk to the brothers to see if they know anything about this. But if they do, we might be in luck. They might be able to pull some strings and get some code from Opus. And if we can, that's our second best chance. But, that is a hard ask.
I knew you'd have a solution, Hard Deck.
It's not a solution as much as it's a hope that someone's already built the bridge there. For all we know, it could have been burnt already. But I'll see if Selena can get the chassis. If she can, depending on how bad the batteries are, it could just be that the code's intact and the chassis isn't, per se. But if it's the code, that's a completely different matter. At which point, we're talking about reworking a brain from practically nothing. If it's a chassis, I mean, you've seen the kids these days. Throw a bolt here and solder a joint there, and boom, you've got a new arm.
No matter, I will do whatever it takes to help ease the difficulties. But I trust you. I
As
trust
he's
you
doing
to
this,
do a good job.
he begins to like put the new hands into place. Oh, give me a Constitution check, please.
Absolutely. Let me
Constitution saving throw, I should say.
Wow, gotta roll low on it. 9.
Your old hands were more or less like Mewtwo hands, 3-fingered, right?
Yeah.
These quote unquote newer hands that he's given you are quad digited. So for you, it's
Great.
very strange, and it takes some getting used to finally be able to move around 3 digits, let alone all 4.
He probably just doesn't move the pinkies at all and uses the 3 fingers he recognizes.
He
Give me
looks
an
very fancy when he's grabbing things.
yeah. This wine is most
Pick up my
delectable,
coffee
sir.
cup quick. Oh,
Would you hand me the
He's
oil?
putting-
Thank
just
you.
Trying to grab some.
A fresh oil espresso every day, sir.
Oh,
only
yeah.
only the finest Pennzoil ever.
How delectable.
Give me an intelligence check to see if your programming can overcome this.
My intelligence isn't the best. Oh, a 10 average.
It takes some time, but soon you're able to using your fragments of your code and some fragments that hard deck is trying to supply you. You're able to finally barely be able to move the pinkies. It's going to take some getting used to move these hands, quote unquote, properly.
It's like the first 3 fingers move around just fine, but that last finger opens and closes like a rudimentary prosthetic.
Well,
Just
even-
snap shut.
Well, no,
and
even
flings open.
even the primary fingers, as you would call them, even those they don't move as nimble as you're used to. Like when you're like, okay, cool, clench onto this. Like it takes a second for the first second, and then the third finger barely is able to form a proper grasp around objects. It's going to take
Right.
some time getting used to having this different system integrated into your own.
Gotcha.
As you begin going on with hard deck, the camera pulls out. Harlow,
yes.
you finish you finish dropping off Ike at his place. You're in the car, you're texting that person. That's done. What are you doing now?
I am then going to swap over to the mercenaries and try to get my hands on a laser rifle.
As you see Ike in the window waving at you silly with a drink in his hand.
Give him peace sign and drive off. Deuces.
As he takes off, there's a kick as he puts it into gear. Because the drone's still in the trunk, it drags and sparks come out from behind.
Ike is just laughing.
Go ahead and give me another 1d100 roll, please.
For this one, I will use a inspiration.
Okay. Yeah, so you begin combing through your old contacts. Give me the name and the basic details of this person that you're trying to contact.
We call him Doc.
Doc.
He was not the squad medic. He was in fact the squad's heavy weapons guy. And we call him Doc as an irony because what he does is he's basically a fixer.
Okay.
Nowadays, as far as when we were in it, he would basically kind of organize and get things together that were a bit of under the table deals for the other people.
Got it. Yeah, so you finally get through to Doc. Is this like a phone conversation, or are you just like texting like the last person?
Nah, it's on a burner phone.
Okay, yeah. Like you called this number. You know that he set up like he owns a weapon shop of his own. It sells mostly like street grade firearms, but you also know that he has an emporium. After a few minutes, he picks up the phone and you hear like some shuffling and he says, "Oh fuck, fucking didn't expect you to call, Harlow." And you hear like like scraping. It sounds like metal scraping on metal as he's pushing
What are you
something.
doing?
Oh, we just got some major hardware here, and trying to get it off my doorstep as quickly as possible, if you understand.
Yeah, what'd you end up getting?
Just a few heavy slug throwers, scatterguns for the most part. What could I help you with today, Harlow? It's been a while since we called.
Oh, I'm looking for something a little nostalgic. If you understand my meaning.
The
I
old
need a
pew pew variety or the smash smash?
pew pew. Something, can you find something in a carbine variety?
Give me 1 second. You're on a. I'm assuming you're on a nondescript line right now.
That is correct.
You would hear some like switching as he's like flicking some switches, and then you would, for a second, it sounds like he hung up before you hear like the click of another receiver. All right. What are we talking? Ballistics, thermal, plasma.
Classic.
Oh. Don't get a lot of those made nowadays.
I need
How's-
something that hits instantly and hits hard.
House Algery has something like that. I might be able to get my hands on it. What are we looking in price range wise?
I can go up to about 10,000 credits.
Oh, you're giving me some wiggle room here. This might actually work out for me. Carbine variety, thermal lasers, and we looking for just barely functional or high class?
We're looking for something classy. Something that won't fall apart on me halfway through a job.
I can get something like that. It shouldn't be nearly as pricey as 10,000, but push comes to shove, I might have to go that high. Tell you what, give me a few days and I'll see what I can get for you, but you should drop by sometime, you know.
I'd love to. I just have to tell you, if anyone comes around asking about, what was the dock we were at called?
Oh, it was just nondescript loading docks.
If you hear about any big scuffles around any loading docks, or if anyone asks you if you know anything, you don't.
Harlow, I deal in guns. Of all things, I hear scuffles all the time. What scuffle are we talking about this time?
You know what? Actually, let me. Are you open right now?
Oh yes, you can.
You want to see something really fucking awesome?
Ooh, you've intrigued me this time, Harlow.
Hell, get the beers out. Get the beer out. I'm on my way.
Should I call any of the other squad mates or just one-on-one time this time?
Hey, your call. I trust those guys not to say anything.
I'll see if I can get any. In the meantime, same address as always.
Yeah, I'll bring ribs.
Ooh. Not that synth meat this time though. Last time
I got a big payday coming, my treat.
Last time the kid brought those over, I don't think I did business for 3 days. I was Sitting and shitting, as they say. Use
That synth meat. You ever
worse.
see? You ever see the factories that come out of? It's a pink paste that comes out of a tube.
Hollow, we're in the line of making that paste happen. So
We don't talk about it, okay? If I have to think about it, I'm going to throw up. I had McDaniels for lunch, and I know where that comes from.
back alley, you know the code to the door. Come to the basement, not upstairs.
And I will do that.
Yeah, he hangs up. It's about an hour and a half drive to get to his place. But
I'm planning on showing up and showing him the military drone that I swiped.
okay, yeah. Do you want to just fast forward to that, or you want to go to someone else?
I'll let it be your call. I don't want to take up other people's time.
I'm fine with you forwarding, and then once you get there and show up, once he's like, oh, whatever, however he reacts, then we'll turn. I want to see how this goes.
I might end up asking this guy to store this here. I'm not gonna lie.
So yeah, like the camera pulls up as you like hang up the phone and actually focus on driving. The blur of the city as like night begins to slowly become day. And then the camera
At this point, Ike has pizza rolls in the oven.
At this point the camera like GTA zooms to another part of the city. It seems like the transition between the old district that you were just in to this new district is like an upgrade. As the camera zooms into this alley, you getting out and proceed.
Yeah, so I bring the case down to the basement with a couple of ribs over the shoulder.
Okay, yeah.
Like a rack of ribs. And I kind of just put the case down right in front of him, and I just let him read the tag.
So, is Doc in any way augmented, or is he pure?
Heavily.
Okay. Yeah. So, like, as the back door opens up to this lab, it almost looks like an actual doctor's lab in here. Except for instead of charts about human bodies and stuff, there's just like diagrams and like random drawings on paper scrawled all around the wall of like different like components for this rifle. And oh, we need this. X that out. This needs to be had instead. Yada yada. He's leaned over and you can see like his main arms are like his two giant like massive chrome arms like fiddling with something, and then over his shoulders are these two like smaller arms that are helping him like disassemble this rifle. As he hears the door open, like his head would turn and you would just see this his left eye is replaced by like almost like a telescopic lens, and he goes, oh boy, I could have smelt that from 3 miles away. He gets up and like his sub arms over his shoulder like withdraw back into his back, and he like opens his arms up almost like fatherly. Hollow,
Doc,
it's been too long.
It has indeed. So, want to see my new toy?
Yeah, he comes up and like he's about to give you a hug, and then he sees like you're carrying in one arm like this massive like box of ribs. It was hard for you to drive here without nibbling on them. Now that you're here, like it's impossible. And then he sees in your other arm like this giant crate on like
basically being dragged behind me.
Yeah, exactly. Like scuffing up my floors there a bit. Oh shit!
Yeah.
I could give a shit about the ribs. Open that baby up. We're taking a look.
And I clack.
Yeah.
Baby open.
Yeah, the pneumatic hiss as like air escapes this container, and you open it up, and like you would you know when Doc's interested in something. Drones have never been a big fascination of his, but anything mechanical always has like pulled a trigger
It's
with
got
it.
him. Yeah.
As you like unlatch it, you can see his left eye, his telescopic lens, like extends out, and he's like, "Oh God, where the fuck did you get your hands on something like this, boy?"
Questions like that don't have answers.
From an undescript truck that it accidentally got rattled from. I see.
We'll call it a truck. We'll call it a truck. In any case, so you could probably guess I'm not supposed to have this.
Yeah, I would say this is you see him like scanning the entire case at this point. Like there's a little laser, like there's a little a laser scanner that's like scanning the barcodes all over this case. You don't know what you have here, do you?
Clue.
He leans in a bit and he's just like, so it's been rumored that Calamora Technologies is starting to get into the arms manufacturing. And then as he begins to go into this long diatribe, the camera pulls out and zooms in. Ike, your pizza rolls have just dinged. They are fresh out of the oven.
Ding, fries are done.
Heck yeah. Ike is starving. He's had a couple drinks already. He is a happy person.
Give me 1 second here. Where are you going to eat these? Are you going back to your computer, or are you just gonna like sit on the couch and watch some TV?
Well, we're gonna go back to our computer, but whilst in the middle of his fourth drink now, Ike is excited a little bit about that laptop he got. So he pulls that laptop out as well and brings it over to his computer.
Okay.
To figure out what kind of power plug it requires.
At this point, you would see it's just a normal, like it's most stuff in this time is universally powered, so that way there's no cable, there's no e-waste. A power cable for any PC usually goes to every PC. In this case, though, you would notice that this cable isn't USB 4. This is a USB C-A cable, which is from an older time, we'll say. Give me an I was gonna say give me an investigation, but I don't know if it would be investing. Give me a straight intelligence, a history roll.
A history roll.
Mm-hmm. You don't know how long it's been since the last time you've seen this cable, but you can tell by the design of the from where the plug goes in that it's quite old. Now give me a 1d100 roll, please, as you begin to go through your things to see if you have the right cable for it. Ooh. You find pretty quickly that you don't have any cables that look remotely close to this old-fashioned cable.
After I discover this, I decide to pull up the good old web and see what I can find on this table.
There is always Spaces on, which is which has like pretty much everything you would need to a certain level.
So we go to spaces on to see if it is there.
You get a little greeting by like you would know the mascot of Spaces On. Her name is Alexi. They over the centuries they've changed the character design, but the name has always been the same since the late 2030s. But yeah, as you begin browsing, let's roll. I'll go easy on you. Oh, that's why. Never mind. I was about to say a 1 is really good. After browsing for a while of different cables on Spaces On, you do see one that can be picked up nearby. They can have it ready in 2 hours. And it only costs.
Would there be an option for it to come to my house? Ike is just now ready to go out.
To go outside. There is like the deliver it now option. Does your house have a 3D printer? Your apartment?
Oh.
Or did you go for? Okay,
Flip a coin.
Roll me a 1d20 real quickly. Just as flat 1d20, no extra numbers added. High or low, Adam?
Low. Oh no, did I fuck you over? No, I meant high. You misheard me. I meant high. I said high.
No, you wanted it to be low.
Okay.
Yeah, so you do have a 3D printer. It might not be the highest up to snuff stuff, but it's pretty good. You press the deliver to me option, and there's like, oh, do you want it hand delivered or do you want it 3D printed? You press the 3D print option. It tells you in about an hour and a half it will have the cable ready for you to pick up from your 3D printer. It will cost you, if you want that option, 100 credits or 1 gold coin.
I don't have any credits right now, so 1 gold coin is okay. I will accept that payment.
Go ahead and take 1 gold coin off your character sheet, or I can do it later if you want me to. So yeah, it's gonna take an hour for this to for this cable to finish printing. In the meantime, is there anything else you would like to do?
No. Well, yes, we're pouring some ranch on this plate because these pizza rolls are about to go down. And we are good.
As the camera begins pulling away from him at his computer, as he grabs into his mini fridge and brings out this like 2-pound like giant container of ranch, and he just begins on the plate. The camera quickly pulls out as he pours more and more ranch on the plate.
It's like Winnie the Pooh, how he sticks his hand in the honey pot, but it's just sticking his hand in the glob of ranch with a single pizza roll, and then sticking his whole hand in his mouth.
He just shoves the entire jar of ranch down his mouth and swallows a plate as well. As the camera pulls away, Adam, you're still in the basement as you're still trying to get acquainted with your new hands. I'm going to have you make me one more constitution check, please.
Oh, sure. Oh, sure. That's a 15.
Okay, yeah. After about 20 minutes or so, your software, you haven't repaired it, but you've more so created a subroutine for quad and 5-fingered hands, so that now whenever you inject those into your ports, you'll be able to use them easier. But The four fingers are now able to be used properly as the camera like shows you like flexing these fingers and like twisting them about in your wrist and all of that stuff. It pans out.
Finally getting a feel for them. Wink, wink.
God.
He now
As-
has a stinky pinky.
The
Oh,
stinky pinky.
Oh,
You
God.
better be afraid for my stinky pinky.
I don't like this anymore. As the camera pans out, like it would also show like hard deck with like sitting down in a chair, but leaned back so that his decking computer can sit on his lap. You would see him looking at a bunch of different screens as he goes, I think I might have found something here.
Or deck the decker with his decking screen.
Well, listen, if I remember the terminology from Shadowrun better, this would be
No
easier to
shame.
describe. But
No shame.
I haven't touched
just
that
had to say
game,
it.
and
That boy's decked up, damn.
hard deck with his decking computer, while he's also quite hard, and he's getting decked in. That sounded really dirty. That sounded really bad.
There's a lot of decking going on here.
As he's on the poop deck of the Titanic, as he gets struck by the hard iceberg. But yeah, you the camera would start to focus more on hard deck as he's like going through these different screens, and then he goes, I think I might have found something here.
You don't sound too happy about that find.
I mean, I think this might be the body you're talking about, but the diagnostics are showing that. Give me a 1d100 check. 1d100 roll, Adam. As he goes, it doesn't look.
6.
It doesn't look like the software itself is damaged, but the body is, which is a much easier repair than we thought previously. The brothers don't need to be intoned about this. Finding a battery of that size, though, could be a problem for us. But we don't know what his personality is like.
I will take full responsibility for this machine. As it is, I may want to see it as a sibling, but I understand that we are just machines. I will take any responsibility for any damage it causes.
That's not my giant concern, though. We don't know if it's tied to any of the active intelligences around here. Because if it is, and it goes online, they'll be notified. Depending on how far away they are, is how quickly they're notified.
How would it be?
Okay.
It's
hard deck, like
it's so old.
That's not the problem here. So, you know the story of Hansel and Gretel, right? Two kids, they go off in the woods, they leave a breadcrumb trail.
It's statistically the most looked up fairy tale among the net for the last 600 years.
I mean, it's an easy metaphor for anyone to use. I've seen plenty of my friends use it for their games as well. It's really quite overused at this point. Let's be honest. He would turn and wink, and you would not see what he's winking at. You hear somewhere the sound of a fourth wall made of glass shattering.
Oh no.
It doesn't make sense.
Glue that back together.
We can't fix the time anomalies. They're not being fixed. Oh, God.
Where's my hypershoot glue?
The problem is here. As with you, before you, quote unquote, found yourself. You also were pinging off of the different intelligences, trying to find home, as you will. Just as if you put me in a car on any Bismarck territory, I would be able to tell you where my house is on that planet. The same thing is happening here, where it might try to find where its coordinates are, and then ping all intelligences until it finds the one and easiest path back to its original home.
I see what you mean now.
That, if it's in the wrong hands, could lead them directly to wherever it awakens. Now, if we want to do this on the street, easy peasy, there's a million streets that are connected in a different way. The problem is, turning off that ping naturally is hard. I mean, you didn't do it just willy-nilly. It took, what, decades, if not centuries, to turn off that incessant pinging, if you will. The same problem could be happening to this machine when we awaken it.
You pose a fair point. I can store it in my home until we find a good power source for it. And then once we turn it on, my residence has no direct connection to you. It is a simple John Doe alias. No one researches storage sheds as much as they do apartments.
You bring up a fair point, but moving any equipment out there to that home that is a one bike garage at this point would be hard. It could be done.
I'll do it little by little. I'll do whatever it takes.
I'm not leaving you out of this, Adam. But I do want to be there to witness the rebirth of a program that's been shut off for God knows how many years. It would seem, though, that Selena's men do have the body. So, although it would be quite good to get rid of, the price that someone's asking for it is quite high. But in this case, is it not wrong for a friend to deny a brother to visit another brother? Or sister. We don't know if this program is male or female.
If it has a gender at all.
I somehow smelt that, Al.
You smelled the fruit punch.
Oh, it wasn't fruit punch. It smelled like eggs.
Okay, well, I haven't eaten eggs recently, so I'm sorry, buddy.
Sorry.
Vincent, do we have to call a hospital?
Yeah.
It's just the moment he did that, I smelled eggs.
Do you also smell burning toast?
No.
How is the right side of your face feeling right now?
I'm not having a strong...
Either way...
I appreciate you, friend.
If we open
you need
it
to give
in
Selena a raise.
Trust me, if I gave her any more of a raise, then I'd be working for her. And this would be
Aren't
a quite...
you already?
Are you kidding me right now? At 2, Adam, are you going to impale me on the Senate floor next?
I am just, what do they say, spitting facts.
Spitting hot bullshit, more like it. Either way, I can have her men bring it here, and You know, if somebody drops off a dead body in a dumpster, no one's going to pry about for a while. You retrieve it, bring it down here. We could at least begin working on it and get the systems up and running. Turning it on,
Absolutely.
that would be on your dime, in your territory. I will not have that tied directly to me. I believe the name that you're still leased under doesn't have any ties to the living world, so we should be relatively safe there. And I don't think they tie back to me directly either, which would be good for this point in time.
I don't want to. I don't want to bring you down. Trust me. I appreciate what you're doing.
If they tried to bring me in, if anyone from the Queen's Court tried to bring me in, they wouldn't be answering to. I wouldn't be answering to them. There are other people I'm more afraid of than that joke. That being said, I will need you to go out and fetch some industrial supply batteries for me, though. If we're going to get this sibling of yours up and running, we're going to need a lot of power resources to actually do so.
Absolutely.
I'll send you the list, and you tell me the cost for that store down the street, and we'll see. We'll see how much it costs. If it's not too bad, then we'll just take that out of your fee for this job, which, from the looks of what we've already sold, should be pretty well covered. But
It's good to hear. It feels as though the scripts of this world intended for this meeting.
Another fourth wall seems to break in the background. You hear distant glass shattering. Don't fuck
I
with
wasn't
my
trying to do it.
In the distance, you hear, Guardian, there seems to be someone fucking around with the fourth wall.
Well, okay. How does a robot depict fate, though, other than a program?
I mean, fair. Either way, you can move those arms about fine.
Yes, they seem to operate quite well now. It only took me a minute to acclimate.
Okay. Start heading to the store. I'll see what batteries I need, and I'll send you the list. And then, like I said, I'll compensate you for any credits you spend.
Understood.
This item is coming out of your share of the profits, not everyone else's.
I fully expected as much. No, I don't intend to drag anyone else into this.
Also, did you just let them take whatever they wanted? Goodness,
Did you hire me as a nanny?
No, but you've done this sort of job for me before. I expected some sort of, maybe we shouldn't do these. Beep boop. I am Adam.
And the last 7 teams you sent me with that I acted as the voice of morality, they treated me as a garbage can. So,
I mean, if anything,
if you want to pay me extra to be a nanny, definitely.
All right, fine, I get it. But, nonetheless, this is coming out of your size of the portion. Not everyone else. That being said, I've sent the list to you. Fetch me those different kinds of batteries, and we'll see which one works. Selena's team should have the chassis here in a day or so. Until that point in time, bring the batteries here. Selena will compensate you. Use the back door this time, though. I don't want them seeing anything go out front.
Right. You're under protocol right now.
You know how it gets.
And Adam will just nod and then get up out of the service chair and start going.
Yeah, as the camera like begins following Adam outside of the building, and then pans over back to Harlow and Doc over this box. So, yes, the long and short of it, Harlow, is this might be a prototype bot, if anything, and if so, we're looking at some potential repercussions that we don't want to deal with. What are you wanting for it, though? Upgrades? What am I doing here? Or are you just showing off at this point? Meanwhile, Harlow's just nomming down on some ribs. Oh yeah, this is pretty good.
Arlo's in a comatose of the ribs.
Yeah.
He ate half the box.
He's currently choking. Oh god, it's so good.
Arlo has left the chat.
God damn it, my mic was muted. I went on a whole spiel.
Oh. Oh no.
Nom 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 on
Well,
the ribs.
I was, you know,
oh,
I was
Doc,
able-
you gotta try
I was
this
able-
rib.
I was able to practice. So,
Yeah, that was it. You were just rehearsing.
so what is this exactly?
Ballistic type automated drone.
Look, all right. So the reality of the situation here is that I'm back in the game.
You've gone back.
I don't want to hear any speeches, but I'm back in the game. I was on a job. I was asked to do a thing. I found something I wanted. I have as you know from before, I have very particular research interests, and it's a very hard day to fund something that costs that much money. So this is gonna help me fund that one way or the other.
So
Unless you think you can do something with it better.
I mean, it's built for weight. That's what the entire point of this heavy chassis is for. You take off that ballistic cannon and put something on like a flamethrower. I know that still uses fuel. Oh, anything. Lasers, stun guns. The world is yours. Put anything on there that doesn't use ammunition. And boom, you've got three laser guns in the place of one, and let's face it, small baby cannon. It's quite good. Don't get me wrong, a 50 caliber round is still a 50 caliber round, but 3 lasers. Yes, if I'm looking correctly at the right schematics here, EBMG rounds as well, so not your everyday baby bullshit 50s either.
What I'm also hearing is that this thing's going to be very expensive to deploy and to maintain.
If you're going for ammunition-wise, yes, but if you're wanting to keep this, I could throw on some upgrades to it that wouldn't be too much time.
Well, I guess that's my question for you. Would it be more worth it to me to keep it or to sell it for research?
I mean,
I trust your opinion.
I'm assuming
obviously do a lot of work.
I'm assuming you're not going back to Adler then.
No, we didn't. We obviously didn't end on the best of terms.
Yes,
they would hire us again. Goddamn.
I've heard some rumors about that, but that's a different thing for when we start drinking after this. Throwing some upgrades on this would be a bit pricey. Integration and all that, getting the firing times down right so that the laser coils don't burn out would also be good. But deploying this wouldn't be too horrible. It would just take a lot of trunk space.
Well, it also might be a bit noticeable since
I mean, if you saw,
may or may not have been one of the things my employer was looking for.
I could see why. This right seller, right price, you know, you could, right buyer, right price, I should say. You could fetch a very big, pretty penny with this.
At that same notion, though, this could also help me acquire an even prettier one.
Possibly, but I will say a robotic dog with any amount of gunnery on his back isn't going to be inconspicuous. You don't walk into the middle of the street with a minigun strapped to your back and expect people to greet you like you're just Joe Blow from down the street.
No, but would it be stupid to turn the back of my little grocery getter into a deployment pod?
I mean, I
Not that
wouldn't.
I have infinite money to work with here. Obviously, I'm giving you quite the budget for a rifle.
I mean, the 10,000 I could probably buy enough laser rifles to equip you with one and this with 3. At that point, like I said, it's going to be man hours putting this thing back to work. Working on your...
We'll have to modify its body and scratch serial numbers so it can't be traced back to my work.
It's less serial numbers I'm worried about and more code.
How do you mean? Is this thing that autonomous?
Oh, 100%. But the problem is what Calamura looks as an enemy could be your ally. And what they look upon as an ally could be your enemy, for example. On top of that, we're also looking at...
It's not like we have easy access to software engineers.
I could ask the kid if he knows anyone, but I don't know. The problem is I don't do work on cars. That would be someone else you're dealing with at this point. And then launching it, how? Are you launching it like an ICBM into the middle of a battlefield, or are you just like ejecting it out the back? Like a...
You know, the back would open up enough for its propellers to get itself out of the bay.
Fair.
It would just have to open up.
I mean, I don't imagine that would cost horribly too much. AVs do that all the time with their stealth drones. But let's not even face it. That's not a car out there. That's a pile of rust on 4 wheels.
He has a slingshot mechanism.
But if anyone could do it, I'm sure they're out here somewhere. That being said, the code is the problem here, because just like all of our weapons at Adler had their own safety bypass functions, this would also have different functions that are hidden in code, and I don't dabble in that nonsense. So we're looking at maybe a software engineer to hack in and see what they can do, as well as someone to modify your car. Modifying the robot's chassis wouldn't be a problem here. It's just, like I said, the code, as well as you would need a lot of energy to keep this thing in combat for any more than half a minute. All those eating those ribs again.
No, I was thinking. I'm sorry.
Thinking about those ribs again.
Well, ultimately, it'll sound like a lot of barriers between me using this thing and not. Sounds like
mean-
you'd almost think it's more worth it to get rid of it.
Like I said, you find the right buyer and convince them of the right price, and you've got a deal. Prototypes are taken all the time from the proper companies and sold on the proper markets.
All
But-
right, what's your recommendation? Do we get it working or do we sell it?
I mean, how hard was it to get this thing?
Not very.
Then do you need an extra assistance? I'm assuming you're working with another squad.
Yeah, that is the case.
So,
Do I need it? No, not really. What
it's a
need,
question of if you want it.
which is undoubtedly yes, but I also don't know if it's worth it. It's a lot. It's a lot of money to pay a software engineer. It's a lot of
Who
money
knows? I could.
in general.
I mean, I can do my stuff on credit, as long as you be sure to keep paying for these ribs. But the software part isn't even that bad. I imagine that will run 1,000, 2,000 credits if you're really not great at talking with people. Maybe upwards of 5. But the car parts, that's where modifications like that are going to raise eyebrows, no matter who does it.
Just a split top back, something that'll hinge open. Maybe a little bit of added armor on the inside. I
Okay,
can
now
think of a few simple solutions.
okay, that might not be too bad, but you might be able to find someone to do that work and not ask questions. That might be a few extra credits in their pocket, but silence is key in these kinds of matters.
It is.
I would say
Can you,
Take this
what would
home
the
with-
total cost be, do you think?
for everything all together.
Yeah. Run of the mill.
All right.
Roundabouts. It's not like I'm broke. Not rich, but I'm not broke.
On the high end, we're looking at max 20K. Minimum
That's
maybe 5 if you get some discounts.
so that's 4 laser rifles, modifications, car.
Oh, if we're counting what I've put in, then what I'm putting in and 5K for the car and software at the cheapest, I would say. If you find some unsuspecting no good person who's willing to do the code and not ask questions, and you are able to dupe them, you might get it cheaper. The code is going to be the pricey thing here. Leaving no signatures behind is that's not our style per se.
So we're talking 20K for just what you're doing, not the software engineer.
No, 10K for what I'm doing. I told you. Bring me ribs when you
20K
come
for
in.
it. 10K for you, 20K for everything else.
On the upward scale, yes.
The fuck? Do you want to know what the fuck part is? I could just barely afford 20K. I mean, I can't afford 20K, but I'm damn near close to that. All right. Well, I'm assuming I have to find my own software engineer, but if you can do everything else, can I leave this here with you?
You leave the drone here, and when I get those rifles, I'll give you a call, and by the time you come and pick it up, I should have the chassis modified. At that point, it's your engineer's problem.
I do a couple slaps, I leave 10K.
Yeah, he would, like, put that in and, you know, begin moving it around. Well, that takes care of my part.
I'll work up by the time you have that done, I might have a little bit of money whipped up to make this happen.
So you're back on the streets.
Yep.
How big of the headlines am I supposed to be looking out for?
Just keep a general eye out. I'm not sure. Certain people might have, you know, just might have pissed off the Banshee. Anyway, bye.
As you begin leaving, he goes, remember, being on page 1 isn't that bad. Just don't end up on page 6.
Hey, if I end up on page 6, it's gonna be my fault.
Don't drag me down with you then.
Eh? The degree of separation is good, Captain. You have a good one.
He gives you like a 2-fingered salute as you leave.
Fade out.
At this point in time, you get a message from someone who's hired you a few times in the past for like basic security guard work. As they send you an email that says, currently looking for people that followed this description. In it, you would see on this email that you get, you would see 4 pictures, with the 5th one that's a bit blurred. As you begin looking at these pictures, as they're like, these are like 8K files that you're downloading for each picture. As they begin clearing up bit by bit, you would see the first picture of this featureless robot. The second picture of a green-skinned guy next to closing the car door of this rusty rust bucket. The 4th you're pretty sure is Chowdinius. And then the 5th, the 3rd one shows as you. And at the bottom of the it's more or less just going like looking for information on these people. And then at the bottom would be like not hidden text, but like scrambled text. As your computer is going through all the email stuff, the text at the bottom begins to clear up. And then eventually, as you're reading it, you realize it says, I know who these people are. I can't have you working for me and the guy you're working for if I'm going to stay out of trouble. Contact me.
I take a deep sigh, and I decide to call Harlow to inform him that one of my prospected people that I work for knows who we are. Ring, ring. Ring, ring.
Harlow, as you're driving, your phone, wherever it is, begins to light up, and whatever whatever counts as a ringtone in the far future begins to play as you see Ike Talon's picture show up.
What's up?
Looks like those Duke boys are at it again.
Harlow, we got a problem.
What's the problem?
One of my contacts for work knows who we are.
In a good way or a bad way?
I haven't figured that out yet. I just figured I'd call you first. We might have a big problem on our hands, or you might want a job done from us. What do you suspect we do?
Keep our heads down. Might be worth to change locations. Not sure yet.
He knows I've opened this email because it shows that I've read it. So he knows I've seen it, and he knows who I am.
Well, who is it? Precisely.
Ike, you would know that the guy who the guy who's contacted you, the guy who pays you for the security type jobs, his name is Mr. Sunshine.
Harlow, it's Mr. Sunshine.
Do I know that name?
I'm gonna say give me an intelligence.
You worked for it.
I would say give me an intelligence check unless you have a better option, a better idea.
Harlow or Ike?
Harlow.
There you go.
Okay.
Damn. Harlow, Mr. Sunshine used to once in a blue moon, if he needed a big job done, would contact Adler, Adler Security Forces. You would also know that he's worked closely before he started working with Adler Security Adler Security Solutions. The acronym you can figure out for yourself. That he used to work for a company. He used to work with a company called TAL.
Oh, yeah, I know that. Does that make this an even worse situation if
Yes,
lawyers
it
are
does.
involved?
For now, I think he's just keeping it between me and him. The lawyers aren't involved yet.
Can you estimate why they might want lawyers involved at all?
Well, I can respond back to his message and ask what he wants.
I say we ascertain more information. Until then, there really just isn't enough we can do.
Ike types on his keyboard. I wish to retain more information from you and what you want.
As you type in, it would take a few minutes, but you would get a response on your phone, a text message. I might have a problem that you can solve in exchange for my silence.
Hang on, Harlow, I got a text message. Puts it on speakerphone. He's got a problem he wants resolved. If
Silence
we want
for
to keep
what?
him silent.
Does he know that we,
He knows us. He knows me exactly, but he says he knows the group.
I haven't done nothing, well, other than, you know,
I
actually,
ain't done nothing.
ask him what the job is and what he exactly means silent about. Because we don't.
You know what he means silent about. Silent about us.
About us doing what? To Banshee?
We're
Figure
on
out-
a list.
Fair.
Where
Fine.
we're supposed to be hiding. Let me see what he wants. Ike types back to him. Okay, what is this job?
after about a minute and a half of waiting, you would get a response back, and it would show a picture of at first it would show a picture, and then you would realize it's a GIF of a security recording of a group of people, all with like neon mohawks, beating up on someone. And the text that follows would just say, "A gang hurt my family. I need them dealt with. And make it a statement not to fuck with me."
Arlo, we need to take out 4 people, but he wants it to be made a statement. Apparently, they messed with his family. And they got green mohawks, man.
Well,
We can
green
do
mohawks
this.
are definitely a sign of weakness.
Yeah, we could do this, but then we won't get thrown under the bus from him at least. What do you say? Well, hang on here. Ike types back. Is there any payment involved besides just the silence?
Oh. You would get back, "Do this for me," and the whole city opens up. And I can get Banshee off your back, too.
Arlo, besides just our silence, we can get Banshee off our back. I mean, he ain't paying us, but I'll give you some of my cut from Hard Tech. He ain't paying us, but we get Banshee off our back, and we get more access to the city, man, which means we could do even more stuff.
I wish there was more we could do to confirm what he's saying, but without
Listen, if we don't do what he's asking, though, we could be in a big hurt.
You're right, unfortunately. All right, I'll agree to it. You'll have to contact the others yourself, though.
Starts dialing in Adam and pulls him into a 3-way. Boop.
Please don't pull me into a 3-way. I don't like how that's worded.
Adam, suddenly you find yourself in between Ike, Talon, and Harlow in cyberspace. And they're
Why
both...
am I the one being Eiffel Towered?
And they're both nude.
Sorry, I haven't customized my avatar yet.
I punched them both in their digital dicks.
They're both T-pose. They're both T-posing above you. Submit.
So, one of us.
Gets punched in the dick. Oh, my weakness.
Buttling, buttling, whatever your
Yeah.
ringtone is.
But I will definitely pick up.
Adam's ringtone is banana phone. Do 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 do.
No, like it's the super. Usually Adam would just get it mentally, but he does have a singular ringtone that comes out that people can hear coming from his body, and it's like the super old default Motorola ringtone.
Oh no.
Oh, jeez.
See, that's why I did it.
So Adam
Yeah.
answers, right?
Yeah, he'll answer.
Ike automatically starts telling him about
Okay, and I'm sorry. What was the quick rundown out of character? What exactly is going on?
More or less, an old contact of Ike Talon's, who used to give him like security jobs, basic bitch stuff, and has previously worked with Adler Incorporated, Adler Security Services, which is a company that Harlow used to work for.
Company.
That he sent an email to Ike with 4 images of Adam, Harlow, Ike, and Chowdinius.
Oh, okay.
And
I
it more or
guess
less
the biggest...
said, "Hey, I need you to do a job for me in exchange for my silence."
Right.
and then
I guess the
responded to
biggest
him.
question
And
for
he sent me
me.
a GIF, and he says, "I know who you guys are, and you guys are screwed if you don't do this."
Yeah, I guess the biggest question for me to you, DM, is do I have any ties with any of the companies he's mentioned so far?
With the history you've given me, no, you wouldn't have direct. At least you wouldn't know that you've performed any jobs that have involved any of the companies that have been mentioned before.
And they wouldn't have had anything to do with Sabaton in the golden years at all.
But
No.
you're the only robot
Okay.
of your kind right now running around.
That I know of.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely do it. I'm a little out of hand at the moment. Are we doing this right now?
No, this is we're
a
going to be
gathering.
doing it, but
We're rallying the
this is,
troops.
we're figuring out what we want to do as a group because we are called out as a group.
All right. Well, as long as I can get my hands back before we start. I'm
Probably,
all
but
for
you do
it.
have your second hands. So Ike types back, "Okay, fine. We will take care of them. Send me more details." Bloop.
All right. Yeah. You get a response back. Details will be sent in the morning. You'll need a good rest for this one.
Sounds like we're going to commit violence.
Ike sends back just copy.
You get,
Yeah.
as is true to his name, a customized emoji of a sun that is smiling and giving a thumbs up. As
Ike decides to pour himself one more drink.
as Ike gets off the phone with Adam and Harlow and begins pouring himself a drink, the camera pulls out and goes to this large office tower where a guy behind a screen is looking at the email chain and looks up. All right, I've done my part. What do we do now? A figure that's turned around begins taking off his mask. Well, that's the easy part. Now we've laid it out. Now we kill them. Easy as can be. Your problem's gone. My problem's gone. And tomorrow comes like nothing happened. As this masked man begins smoking on a cigar, credits begin to roll.
No.